Hey, today's lesson is broken down into 5 different sections. The first section is where I will teach you how to select specific grammar rules. In section 2, I will teach you how to understand various explanations of grammar rules. In section 3, I'll teach you how to write example sentences based on the grammar rules. In section 4, I'll go over a real-life situation, and then I'll show you how to organize your thoughts related to the grammar rules. And finally, in section 5, I'll give you a 5-day action plan that will help you apply what you learn in this lesson and also improve your English grammar. Now, today's lesson is going to change your life. But before I start, I need you to do something very special for me. You see, I want to help students just like you around the world. I want to help 1 billion students. And in order to do that, I need you to do 3 things. I need you to like, share, and subscribe. Come on, here we go. Like, share, subscribe. Come on. I said like, share, subscribe. Last time, like, share, subscribe. I'm Teacher Tiffany. Let's jump right in. All right, so here we go. Section number 1. Step 1. Select a specific grammar rule to study. All right, so here we go. The thing is, you need to focus on one grammar rule at a time. It is important to focus on one at a time. You need to challenge your brain to figure out the rule you are studying at the moment. You know, sometimes when you're studying, you have too many things on your plate and you need to focus on one thing. So focusing on one at a time. Now, doing this will help you concentrate on one thing. It will help you remember the rule you're studying faster. And it will also help you use the new rule properly. So again, we're looking at selecting a specific grammar rule. Now, another important thing is you need to pick one that matches your level. So it is important to find one that matches your level. Pick something that you can grasp or understand, but that also may challenge you a little. Sometimes students pick grammar rules that are way above their level and they get confused and frustrated. I don't want that to happen to you. So for step 1, you do want to pick a specific grammar rule, but you want to make sure it matches your level. Now, this is important. Why? Because it helps you to feel more confident. It also helps you to focus on improving step by step. And it also helps you to learn grammar rules you can apply immediately. All right. Now, another thing is you need to remember to keep track of what you learn. You see, by focusing on one specific grammar rule, you're able to keep track of what you learn. It is important to keep track of what you learn. In other words, it is important to know your progress. This will help you stay encouraged. It will help you to set and reach new goals. And it will also help you to see how much you have truly improved. So again, step 1 is select a specific grammar rule. Now, let's move on to section number 2, which is actually also step number 2. Find 5 different explanations of the rule. Now, this is important. This will help you see the grammar rule from different perspectives. Basically, you will explore and understand every aspect of the grammar rule. You see, what happens sometimes, you'll find a grammar rule, right? Maybe you'll find it in a book, but you don't understand what the grammar rule is actually saying. You need to find the same grammar rule with a different explanation somewhere else. You see, the more you understand, the better you will use it. Another thing to remember is right here. This will help you remember the grammar rule faster in the future. Basically, you will be able to recall or remember various ways of using the grammar rule. Edgar Allan Poe said this: "To observe attentively is to remember distinctly." Now, for pronunciation, I want you to watch my mouth. To observe attentively is to remember distinctly. So basically what he was saying was, hey, when you take time to truly dissect something and understand it from many different angles, you'll be able to apply it better later. All right. Now, another reason why it's so important for you to find 5 different explanations is because this will help you explain the grammar rule to other people better. Remember, in a previous lesson, I told you all the importance of sharing what you learn. All right. So basically, you will be able to teach someone else. Comprehension leads to application. If you don't understand something, how can you apply it? So it's very important to apply step 2. Find 5 different explanations of the grammar rule. Now, moving on to section 3, which is actually step 3. Write 25 example sentences based on the rule. 25? Yep, I said 25. And let me tell you why it's so important to select 25. So you want to have example sentences that will help you see how the grammar rule is applied. You want to have 5 beginner sentences. This will help you understand the rule better. Simple sentences that use the rule. Then you want to find 5 intermediate sentences. This will help you expand simple sentences. You want to find 5 advanced sentences. This will help you combine complex ideas. And maybe you're asking yourself, well, how do I know if a sentence is advanced, intermediate, or a beginner sentence? So think about it like this. For a beginner sentence, think about maybe 3 to 5 or 6 words. For the intermediate, about 7 to 10 words. And for an advanced sentence, any sentence that is 10 or 11 words or more. You can think about it like that, okay? Now, the next 5 need to be in the past tense, about a past situation. This will show you how to apply it to past experiences. And finally, future. This will show you how to apply it creatively. It's so important for you to write 25 example sentences, all right? Now, section number 4. We're going to look at a real life situation and see how you can organize your thoughts. Now, for those of you who have followed me for a long time, you know how much I love the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. So let's see how we can organize our thoughts and speak about this situation. But first, let's see a real life situation. Here we go. All right, so we see some individuals sitting down. We see 2 guys and a girl, and it looks like the guy on the computer is very focused. Well, this is actually an exchange student. He selected a grammar rule that he didn't understand. Now remember, creative thinking. I saw this picture and said, hey, it's an exchange student doing creative thinking practice, right? Now, number 2, there are 2 tutors, there's a book and the internet. So the exchange student found 5 different explanations or sources for the grammar rule. He got an explanation from each tutor. He got an explanation from the book that's on the table, and maybe 2 different explanations from the internet. All right. Now, number 3, here we go. Using the computer, he starts typing out a ton of example sentences. The 25 example sentences we talked about in step 3. So now how can we turn this into a really good answer or description of the situation? So for who? I'd say the exchange student. For what? Studying English grammar with his 2 American tutors. When? One afternoon. Where? At an outdoor cafe. Why? He learned how to finally understand and use English grammar using the 3 steps. All right, let's pause really quickly. So we see that we have organized our thoughts. Who, what, when, where, and why. We've spoken about this situation. This exchange student is studying English grammar, and he's applying the 3 steps that I just taught you. So let's see how we would actually explain this or say this. Here we go. One afternoon, that answers when, an exchange student and his 2 American tutors were studying English grammar together. They were sitting at an outdoor cafe and the weather was great. The exchange student was actually an intermediate English learner, so he could speak English with confidence. But he decided to study more because he had learned how to finally understand English grammar using the 3-step process from teacher Tiffani. Oh, okay. So you see how we combined everything we learned, right? And we actually were able to organize our thoughts to speak about the situation. Now, again, you'll notice that I have some of the words bolded and put into this light brown color. So you can see where I answered the who, what, when, where, and why. All right. So now let's move on to section number 5, because I want to give you the 5-day action plan that will show you how to apply what you learned. All right. So again, your frustration is English grammar is difficult. Here's what I want you to do. On day 1, you can watch a YouTube video or read an interesting English blog. Remember, it needs to be about something you are interested in. Now, while you're watching the video or reading the blog, you need to select one sentence structure that is difficult to understand. On day 2, you're going to find the grammar rule that sentence is based on. Find 5 different explanations. So you see that this is spread out over a 5-day period. The first day, you're just enjoying yourself, watching the movie or the video or reading the blog and just selecting one sentence. Then on day 2 is when you're going to search and find the grammar rule that sentence is based on and 5 different explanations. Now on day 3, what you're going to do is you're going to find and write down 25 example sentences that use the grammar rule. So you see that on day 3, you're going to be doing a little bit of searching. Don't forget, you want 5 beginner sentences, 5 intermediate, 5 advanced, 5 about the past, and 5 about the future. All right. Now on day 4, what you're going to do is memorize 10 of the example sentences. You can choose. You can choose whatever you want, whichever sentences you want, you can choose. But on day 4, you need to memorize 10 of the sentences, giving your brain an opportunity to get used to the patterns. All right. Now, on day 5, this is where it gets fun. Change the sentences you memorized. You're going to change 1 or 2 details and make your own sentence. So let's say, for example, the basic sentence I found was Molly and Jack decided to go home after the movie, right? Well, I can change it and I can say, my brother and I decided to go home after the soccer game. I changed little details, but the sentence structure is the same. And that's what you need to do. So again, 5-day action plan. I know English grammar can be difficult, but if you follow this 5-day action plan, I guarantee your English grammar will improve. Now, I always like to add a part 2 to my lessons to help you improve even more. And I also have a part 2 for today's lesson, but it's only available for my Academy students. For part 2, I have the PDF file that goes over everything we went over today. I have a 5-day action plan worksheet that you can print off and actually practice what I taught you today. And I also have a video explanation explaining how to use the worksheet. I love helping students just like you. So if you want to take your English to the next level and you enjoyed this lesson, you need to watch part 2. Get the action plan worksheet, get the PDF file, and watch my explanation video. Click the link that you see right here on your screen. Join us. I know that you're going to learn a lot. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I love teaching students just like you. Remember, I need you to like, share, and subscribe so other students just like you can learn a lot. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly enjoyed this lesson and I was so happy to teach you. I'll see you next week, but as always, remember to speak English. You still there? Oh yeah, it's story time. Hey, I said it's story time. All right, guys. So for today's story time, I'm going to tell you a story about my professor when I lived in South Korea. Now, many of you know that I studied in Korea. I went to grad school and I studied Oriental painting. I love to paint and I love to draw. I am a vegetarian, but I'm actually a vegan. So my diet is I have a very specific diet, right? Things I can eat and things I cannot eat. Now, living in Korea, let me say this one thing. For those that are Korean watching this video, Koreans have amazing food. It's really delicious. Their dishes are so good, but there are so many dishes that I can't eat because I don't eat meat. So I have many friends, friends that were missionaries with me when I went to Korea, and they'll tell me, even now, Tiff, woo-wee, Korean, takalbi, like the chicken dishes, they say, Tiff, they're so delicious. So I missed out on a lot of dishes because I am vegetarian. I'm vegan. But I want to tell you about the situation with my professor. So Koreans love meat, right? They can cook really well and they like to eat meat. They really enjoy food, which is why I liked Korea a lot too. I enjoy eating. So my professor, in Korea, sometimes the bosses or the professors or whoever is your superior, he or she will take those who are under him or her out to eat, right? And they'll pay for their food. So the professor used to take the students out, and he always had a hard time because I was vegan. So they'd go to a restaurant and he said, Tiff, well, we know you can't eat anything. I said, it's okay. I'm okay. So one day he said, Tiff, you know what? I don't know how you only eat vegetarian food or vegan food. How can food be good without meat? I said, oh, professor, listen, I'm telling you, if somebody cooks it right, the food is good. So he said, I can't believe you. Now, all of this is happening in Korean. I'm just translating for you in English. So one day he said, you know what, Tiff? Okay, I'll try it. There was a vegan buffet on campus, and I would go there almost every day because I could eat everything on the menu. I said, okay, yeah, come. So it was my professor, me, and some other students. And so they were very apprehensive. They couldn't believe that any vegan food could be delicious. I said, okay, all right. Now, let me tell you this as well. I love Korean food, yes, because the flavors are good, but also because they have a lot of fresh vegetables. Depending on where you go, a lot of their traditional dishes have fresh vegetables. Now, they also have meat in them, so it's a little bit hard to pick the meat out, but they do use a lot of fresh vegetables. So my professor arrived at the vegan buffet, and I'm excited because I'm about to eat. He said, I don't know about this. So everybody filled their plates up. We sat down. So I'm thinking in my head, I wonder if they're going to enjoy the food. So we start eating, and I'm watching him, and I see his face. Wait a minute. This is kind of good. So I said, oh, do you like it, professor? And we're trying to say, oh, well, it's okay. It's good. He said, Tiff, this is delicious. I said, oh, I know. So we laughed, and I said, professor, even if it's vegan, it can still be delicious if someone flavors the food right or, puts the right ingredients and the right seasonings. So we had a good laugh. He said, I'm not going to become vegan, Tiff, but this food was good. So for those of you out there who have never tried vegan food or food that has no meat, eggs, cheese, or milk in it, trust me, if someone cooks the food right, ooh, baby, you're going to like it too. So I have that memory, and I'll always remember my professor enjoying the food. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Remember, if you want to watch part 2, click the link. You see it right here on the screen, and also click the link in the description, and you can watch part 2 of my lesson. I will see you next week.